Hi guys, Niftythriftygirl featuring a Singer 500A. This is, of course, the taupe colored machine. I think they call it light beige oyster white, but I don't see it as light beige. It's more of a taupe color. Of course, it's also nicknamed the Rocketeer because it's got kind of a point up here and it's kind of space-agey looking for its time. So it was nicknamed the Rocketeer. It is a sister to the 401A. It is basically the same machine, and they do share a lot of parts. It's basically the same machine inside. The only difference is the cosmetics outside, the physical appearance. It is an all-metal machine. It is gear-driven. There's no belt to change. The motor actually drives the machine directly. Excuse me. It has over 30 built-in stitch patterns, and those patterns are accessed by letter combinations that you make with these two front dials. The back one pulls, the front one pushes, and you've got letters on each side, and you set these letters to different combinations to choose your pattern. This is your stitch width here. Your stitch length and your reverse is here. This is your throat release, your throat plate release. Go in a little bit closer here for a minute. It is a Class 66 drop-in bobbin mechanism. It is a slant shank, and it uses 15x1 needles. As you can see, cosmetically, it's very nice. It's not perfect, but it's very nice. Little scratches here and there. No major paint loss. There's a ding here. And, I mean, there's little dings, but overall it's not a bad machine. You have a convenient threading diagram here inside the nose. And, of course, this top panel opens. Your thread goes here, double needle capable, so you have your two spool pins. Now, this is something that a lot of them are missing are the third spool pin. Here's your third spool pin. Now, this is used if you don't want to open the top. Your third spool pin goes here, and you can sew with the top shut. Now, when you're not using the third spool pin, it pulls out, and it stores right there, upside down. Bobbin winders here under the panel. This machine, besides having the 30 built-in stitch patterns, it also uses the Singer top hat cam. Now, this comes with the 5 original cams. These designs are not already built into the machine. If you buy the other 20, see there are 22 cams, so if you buy the other 17 cams, you're basically repeating yourself because the patterns that these other 17 cams make are already built into the internal cam stack of the machine. So it's kind of redundant to go buy more cams when your machine already makes the patterns itself. Now there is some paint spatter, little tiny paint spatter on the inside of this panel. This is your kind of your stitch chart. It's just a quick reference. PDF copy of the instruction manual is included. I don't have a manual for this. Original. Comes with the original box, and it's supposed to be 2-layer. It's supposed to have a top layer that comes out, but it doesn't have the top layer in it. So you just get all the stuff, and it just lays here in the bottom layer. You get screwdrivers, bobbins, binder, ruffler, straight plate, zipper foot, hammer foot, button sewing foot, straight stitch foot, and your 4 cams are here, and then there's one in the machine. So after all of that, I'm going to sew for you, and as you know, all of our machines are always serviced, lubed, and delivered to you ready to work. Sorry, I stepped on my tripod. So let's put our thread back up here, and we're going to sew. Built-in light, switch right over there. The cording is in good shape. It's like brand new condition. Very nice machine. It is tabletop ready, or of course you can always put it in a Singer cabinet. but it works just fine on the tabletop the way it is. Now, when you do double needle, when and if you do double needle, you don't have to buy a special needle. You can actually put 2 needles in this clamp side by side. Very cool feature of the Singers that no other machine does. You can actually put 2 needles side by side in the clamp instead of buying a special needle. How cool is that? You do get a vintage pack of sealed needles with your machine. Kind of cool, size 14. You get vintage metal bobbins, and I want to make a note that vintage bobbins are going to work better because if you go to Walmart and you buy these bobbins, the center ring protrudes and sometimes it'll bind in your bobbin case. So if you have the chance to get vintage bobbins, or use plastic because they don't have a center protruding ring, you can get plastic at Walmart, and I'm sure you can probably find vintage metal on eBay. And here we go. It's set on zigzag, so we'll just go with zigzag. Oh, and I do want to make note, and I have to make note of this. There's supposed to be another little hook right here on this thread guide. Now, there's a new way to thread this machine, and the new way to thread it, you don't use this thread guide. It is through this one here and down through the tension, and as you'll see, it's sewing just fine. But I do want to make note that this is broken off, and this is actually permanently in here, so you can't really replace it. It's riveted. That's the word I'm looking for. It's riveted in there. So it's no big deal, but I do want to note it because I say I disclose everything about my machines, and I do. I almost forgot. Because it really gives this machine no issue whatsoever when sewing. But there is a little loop that's supposed to be right here that's broken off. So if you look in the manual and you're threading and you say, oh my gosh, that loop's gone, it doesn't really matter. Just leave the loop out of the threading procedure. And actually I can guide you to a page that shows you the new way to thread that leaves that loop out anyways. Okay? Now that I said that, and I hope I remember to say it in the description, HL I like to use because it's like a domino pattern. Tighten it up a little bit, make it real tight, make it full, make a little bit of tension. And of course, Singers are always real finicky on tension, so as you see, as I tighten that up, the bottom thread started coming up, so I really need to loosen it up. That made it a little bit better. So we'll do another design here. What else can we do? Let's do a pyramid. B and N makes a pyramid. Certain patterns, the primary patterns, you can adjust the stitch width. The secondary patterns, you cannot adjust the stitch width. The stitch has to stay on 3 to make the pattern. So make sure you read the manual. If you find that the machine is not making the pattern that you think it should, make sure that you're not doing a secondary pattern, because if you do, it has to be on 3 or the machine won't create that pattern. Big thing, and I forget about that sometimes too. You know, I'm trying to make it wide, and I'm over here, and I'm like, what the heck, it's not making the pattern. I'm like, oh yeah, the secondary pattern, it's got to be on 3. And then it'll make the pattern that I want. Kind of weird. But that is, and I've been rambling, but I try to give you all the information I can think of while I'm on here. That is your Singer Model 500A Slant Matic Rocketeer.